Hello again. We're going to go for the second try now, and welcome once again to the Portsmouth Property Weekly Update. I really need to find a better name for that. If you've got a better name for this weekly show, then is it a show, this weekly presentation or broadcast, then please let me know, because I've got to find a better name for that. Now look, I'm glad you're with me because we have got some cracking properties today. And I'm going to do something a bit different, and I'm going to show you what work I would do on each of those properties. I'm going to show you what offers I would make on each of those properties, because some of these that I'm about to show you have got maybe a couple of little hidden pieces of knowledge, inside information, whatever you want to call it, that perhaps other people might not know. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway, and that's what you've got to look for if you're looking for properties to invest in. It doesn't really matter whether you're buying to sell or buying to let, or flipping to sell or flipping to let. It doesn't matter. We've got to try and pick out these little gems that might have some hidden golden nuggets, so to speak. So what have I got for you today? First of all, I have got 4 properties that I think are right for investment right this second. Obviously, if you can pick them up at the right price, but I'm going to tell you what prices they are. I've also got a load of stats about the rental market. Guess what? Property. So you can take advantage of that right now with these properties I'm about to show you. You might be able to make a quick bit of money if you flip to sell. So this is going to be a cracking little update, and I really want to give you a bit of insight into how I look at these properties, and I'd also love to have a bit of insight into how you would look at these properties too. So, and the next thing I'm going to tell you before I get started is that I'm going to share a little bit of something awesome with you in a minute. So stay tuned for that. So we've got 4 properties. We've got why are rent prices going up, and I've got something awesome to share with you here. So let's crack on. Who wants to get straight into the properties? If you don't mind just giving me a hello or a thumbs up or a what's up, Tom, or anything like that, just to let me know you're with me and you're here. There's normally a bit of a delay between you commenting, you seeing what I say and then you commenting. So hopefully you're all there. I'm just going to crack in a hi, everyone, down at the bottom there. So there it is. Right. Hi, everyone, twice. Why not? Right, let's crack on. So I've got a 3-bedroom property to show you here. So if you could just let me know, here we go. Hopefully you can all see my screen. I'm just going to check on my phone. Look, Tom Sohn is live now. Yeah, right, let's do it. What are we looking at? Yes, we can all see it. Come on. Yes, 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 yes. Right. So let's get that off. Boom. Looks like we've got a couple of people watching already. So here's a 3-bedroom house. It's in Essex Road and it's number 26. There's no point any estate agents that might watch this in the future. Don't bother sending any letters because it looks like it's an empty, vacated property. But this one is an auction property, auctioned by Allsop, which is a really famous name in the industry. Hopefully everyone knows this. But this is why I like this place. Check this out. So let's jump straight in here. Hopefully you can all see my screen. I'm guessing you can. This one, by the way, is an absolute wreck. Which when you've got a wreck of a property, here's a little insight here. A wreck of a property will put newbie investors off. Look, I'm not saying every newbie investor, but some newbie investors, first-time investors or safer investors will be put off by this property, and I'll show you why. Here's a brilliant shot of some squares and rectangles. Thank you very much. But gorgeous bathroom. What do you reckon? Look, that's going to need ripping out. So you see these tiles on the wall, something to be a bit careful of when you're pulling tiles off. Then sometimes you can cause a bit more damage than you intended to. This also definitely needs new bathroom furniture, I would say. So you see here, you've got wallpaper on those walls. Again, a little warning, when you pull wallpaper off, sometimes you can start pulling old plaster off the walls. That will need replastering in certain places in some instances. Here's a little tip. If you touch the wallpaper and you can like hear a crunching sound, then there's a chance that there's a bit of damp behind there, or there's a chance that the plaster is crumbling and it's going to need replacing. Also, if you feel some sort of chalky residue on the surface of that wallpaper too, that's another giveaway sign. Look at this. Who chooses this wallpaper? So look, I think that wall's going to need completely stripping, completely replastering under there, but that's what I would forecast for and plan for personally. Again, same thing in here, but look, there's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, because what it's got, and I'll show you the floor plan in a second, but what it's got is a lot of floor space and accommodation space. So you can do a lot with this property. Now, by the way, if you're going to take this is obviously a chimney stack right here, and hopefully you can see that. If you take that out, you will need to put steel in here, because this is obviously a supporting wall. So you'll need to put some steel. That's going to cost you between 750 and 1,200 quid, that sort of area, depending on the job. So take that into account. Here's a gorgeous garden shot here. So look, again, you never know what's underneath a garden like this. It could be cleared out, no problem. But the main cost in clearing out a garden like this is the labor involved. You're probably going to need to have a couple of guys for a couple of days getting that all out. But then there's the cost of disposing of it all. There is actually a lot more than it looks. You won't just get all that in one big van load. There's going to be quite a few trips there as well. So there's going to be a cost involved in that. Here's the floor plan. So this is what I mean. Look, if we look over here, right at the front here, we've got a living room. Then we've got a dining room in the middle. Got a breakfast room. Do we still have those? And a kitchen at the back. So I'd probably do two things here, depending on whether I can or cannot. Smash this all through, so you've got a nice big open plan living room, dining room. Now that's a trend thing at the moment. People love open plan lounge and dining rooms. And then here, I'm guessing if we go back to that shot here of the kitchen, yeah, so here's the breakfast room and here's the kitchen. Now you can do that. You can knock that through, but it will cost you an extra, at least £1,000 to do that. And then you've got tons of rubble to dispose of as well, and it does all add up. So it might cost you a bit of money to do, but remember the rule. It can only cost a maximum of 75% of the value that it will increase the property by, because you can only mortgage 75% of the property value. So if it's going to cost you more than 75% of the value increase, then it's not worth you doing it, unless you're keeping it long term and you're going to get an extra ton of rent by doing so. But here's a little thing here, right? Let's just go back. So I don't think I saw. No, I didn't. So I didn't see a picture of the kitchen, which would suggest that the kitchen looks hideous. Now, these two little areas here, as you can see, are well worth pulling out. Now, look, right at the back here. So what have we got? We've got a breakfast room, boom. We've got a kitchen, boom. And we've got two little storage rooms at the back here, right at the back of the property. Now, I haven't seen the property, so I couldn't comment on whether this is definitely feasible, but I've seen thousands of properties, and my gut instinct is telling me that you could either make a kitchen in the breakfast room and turn that into a big downstairs bathroom, leaving you with an extra bit of space upstairs. You know, you could make 3 double bedrooms upstairs, or you could even get 2 good-sized bedrooms and 2 small bedrooms upstairs, making a 4-bed. Now, again, there is a cost involved in that, but imagine the difference between a 3-bed and a 4-bed, or imagine the difference between a tiny single bedroom and a larger double bedroom that's going to make on the cost of the property, on the value of the property, sorry. So there's a good little potential. Now, I think once this property is done, it's going to be worth about 220 grand. It's a decent area. It's very, very popular. And it's a 3-bedroom house which has got a lot of space throughout. The problem is that you probably won't get a mortgage on there. And that's good for you guys, because number one, that puts off a lot of people. Number two, it means that first-time buyers aren't going to want to come and try and buy this property with a mortgage and a deposit. But number three, you should be able to get bridging finance on this property. Buy it with a bridging finance loan, which is basically the same as a mortgage. You can borrow up to 75%. And then do the property up, get a mortgage, and then you've got it, bam. Or do the property up and sell it, whichever is your target. But I do think that this is going to be worth about 220 grand once it's done. And I personally would allow this to be sold for about 160, 165. So Allsop's guide price, I agree with. I would actually go up to 165 on that place, because I think you're going to want to spend about maybe 30 grand here. New bathroom, definitely going to need a new kitchen. That's why they've not shown any pictures of it. Decor throughout, flooring throughout. So, you know, I think there's going to be 30 grand's worth of work perhaps. But let me know what you think, because obviously you guys are seeing properties too. Have you seen this one? Have you been inside? Is it really as bad as it looks? But yeah, so offer 160 to 165 max. It's worth 220 when it's done. You're going to want to spend about 30 grand on it. So there's a little bit of profit if you want to resell it. So a decent little flip there. That auction is, let's have a look. Who knows when that auction is? They don't want to list that for some reason. Fair enough. Go on the Allsop website. I'm sure they'll tell you on there. Next one, 2-bedroom house, Merrick Road, Stamshaw. This is a cracker. I think this one is a little bit of a gem. I don't think many people will go and buy this. And this one's on the market with Northwood, and that's at a price of 170,000. Now, this one does need work as well. All of these properties need work. And I think the guys over at Northwood will be able to help you out. They're over in Drayton area, so they'll be able to help you out with what sort of offer you can make and so on. So let's check this place out. Now, the reason I think this is a little gem, because I actually think only half of the house needs refurbishing. Look, so downstairs, look, okay, whether you like this brickwork or not doesn't matter. Really, what we're looking to do is get it to the point where we can sell it. And you could make that look like quite a nice feature there. Now, the walls don't look too bad to me. What do you guys think? Actually looks all right. If we jump through to this looks like the reception room. Again, the walls don't look too bad. Now, you might want to take one of these walls out. You might want to take this door off. I don't know. But floor doesn't look too bad. The walls don't look too bad. And the kitchen is actually quite new. You don't have to touch this at all. Even if you don't like the red, you're not buying it. Remember that. So this one's a decent downstairs. I don't think you need to do too much here. That's not bad at all. And then you go upstairs. This is where you maybe want to start doing a bit more work. I think these walls are going to need help. I think it's not a very good picture. You can't really see it very well, but I do think that the walls are going to need to be done there. You're going to need flooring, obviously. I'm not sure what's going on with these floorboards, but check them out. Look, prepare for the worst. If you go upstairs and you think, geez, this needs a lot more work, then fine. But I don't think it needs a lot of work. Now, here we've got into a classic Artex walls by the look of it. Now, a couple of tips about those Artex-y type walls. If you touch them and there is a sort of a flaky, powdery, whitish residue and it comes off in your hands, then you're going to need to get that Artex stripped off or skimmed or whatever you want to call it. You're going to need to redo that. It looks like there's been a little bit of damp in this area over here. Now, here's a quick thing about damp. It's not as bad as you think. Everyone thinks damp's this terrible thing that's going to cost billions of pounds to fix, but it won't. Actually, damp is quite easily fixed, but you've got to catch it, because damp can go on to cause a lot of problems, because it gets in through the cavity in the wall, and normally it drops in through the top, through the roof, where the guttering is and all that sort of stuff, or sometimes it's rising damp, which is, look, it's a problem, but it can be fixed. It's not the worst thing in the world. So don't be put off by damp. Just calculate it into your estimates. Now, it does need a new bathroom, but I don't think it's as dramatic as it looks. I think that you could probably get away with a bit of decor and cleaning it up a bit. This needs to go, that hideous unit. I don't know what that is. You'll probably need a new sink there. Get rid of the tiling. Then you can just put some half tiling. It's actually quite cheap to do, just some half white tiles on the bottom half of the wall, and then paint the top half of the wall. It's got this big shower unit in here, which, me personally, I'd probably leave that. If I can get a bath in behind this door here, I'd probably do that too. And then you've got a real selling point of a 4-piece bathroom. And that will generate more interest from families. It will generate more interest from all buyers, actually. Or if you're going to rent this out, you'll definitely get more interest there. Again, look, we're back downstairs here. The floor looks fine. It's got central heating, I can see. There's a nice, looks like it's got some sliding doors, patio doors going outside. And then the garden, not as bad as the last one, right? Let's compare gardens. Oosh! Let's get away from that garden. This one's not quite so bad. Couple of things to check for in gardens. There's this absolute bastard of a plant called Japanese knotweed. It looks like a little red penis. So it's the only way I can think of describing it. It's a green shoot, it's got little red bits on it. And if you see that in a garden, then you need to get out of there, because Japanese knotweed grows so bloody fast and so hard that it gets into even the smallest little cracks in your brickwork and everywhere, timbers, the lot, and it just starts pushing. It doesn't stop growing, even if it's brick, and even if it's got a whole house on top of it, it doesn't stop growing. So if you see Japanese knotweed, look, again, it's fixable. It's not the end of the world, but you need specialists to come in and remove Japanese knotweed, and it's not cheap. But hey, you make an offer, you calculate your offer, there it is. So let's move away from this garden. Oh, I wonder if the clothes dryer, whatever, what do you call these things? Someone let me know what you call these things. Hi, David. How you doing, mate? What do you call these things again? I can't remember. It's not a clothesline, is it? No, I'll let you tell me. Anyway, let's move on. Hopefully that clothesline comes with it. Now we're looking at a 2-bedroomed terraced house, which is on the market with Fox & Sons. Fox & Sons down in Southsea. They've been around for billions of years as well, so they know what they're doing. Good agents over there in Southsea. Good bunch of guys as well. And this one's got a guide price here of 160,000. And by the way, I'm just going to jump back, actually. Going back to this house in Merrick Road. Now, what's going to put a couple of people off? I completely forgot to tell you the most important part. This is a 2-bed house. I've just been through it and told you what I would do as work, right? But what's going to put a lot of people off this place is that there's no floor plan. And that's really annoying for an investor who's looking at a property, but there's no floor plan, because you can't really see what you could potentially do with it. So that does irritate investors. But what it also does, it puts people off. It stops people from seeing it because they can't automatically see what they could do with it potentially. But I can see that this place has got gas central heat, it's got double glazing, there's no forward chain, some update required. Yep, I'll agree with that. I don't think it's a massive refurb job. I certainly wouldn't expect to spend any more than about 10 to 12 grand on this. Now, if you've got a 2-bedroom, right, I'm assuming that the upstairs bathroom, right, this is a 2-bedroom. Here we go. Let's get back to that. Yeah. So now I'm assuming that this was a bedroom upstairs. So if we go back to that kitchen, definitely. Look at the size of that. So there is scope in the future to turn it back to a 3-bed. I personally wouldn't, because actually I think this kitchen has become a selling point. But as a 2-bed, it would be worth about 190,000 once it's completely finished, I would estimate. Maybe slightly less. So personally, I think this is overpriced, but don't blame Northwood for that, because quite often those guys over there, they will value properties properly. But then the owner will decide, no, I want to go on 170,000. It's worth way more than that. Fair enough. Well, how can you argue? You can't argue with an owner, can you? I know my guys will tell you the exact price, and they'll tell you, look, we'll try it at your price, but if it's not sold in this time, then you have to go to a realistic price. And I think the guys over at Northwood will do something similar. But anyway, that's on for 170,000. So what would I offer on this place? Well, look, just calculate backwards. I think you need to spend about 12 grand on this property, and it's on the market for 170,000. But done up, it's going to be worth 190,000. So the way I calculate this is, obviously I want to make a bit of profit if I'm going to sell it. So if it's worth 190,000, I'm going to take away 12,000 because that's what I need to spend on it. So I'm left with 178,000. There's going to be about 7 grand, something like that, of legal fees and tax. So maybe I'll allow myself another 1,000 quid for a contingency, just in case anything goes wrong when I'm taking wallpaper off and stuff like that. And also, if they don't include that clothesline out the back, then I'm definitely not interested. So I'm going to allow £1,000 for that. So all in all, I'm getting down to about a value to me of 100 and about 100 and what did I get to? So 12k for that. So that's 178. Yeah. So I'm down to 170. That's without any profit. So that's how I think the owners probably worked this out too. If you sell it to an investor for no profit, yeah, you might get 170,000, but we've got to make profit, right? Now I want to make at least 15 grand on this property. So I'm probably going to go and offer 155. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, because there's not a lot of work done here, you could probably turn this round a bit quicker. So I'll offer 155,000, but I might go up to 157, something like that, for this property. Now, if you go and see this property, talk to Northwood first, but don't say to them, look, I'm going to offer 155 before you've gone and seen it. You need to go and see it first. You need to get to know the guys. You need to show your calculations so people know why you're offering 155. Not just because you're being a bit of a dick and you're offering completely cheap as chips. Because if you were doing that, you'd probably offer 140 something because you want to make a load of money. But 155 to 157, I think, is a fair offer for this property. If you're going to do a lot of the work yourself, you might be able to go a little bit higher. But certainly go and offer 155 on this property and go and make yourself a quick bit of profit. And let me know if you go and see it. Now, the next one I've got for you is definitely a flip to sell, I think, if you can get it for the right price. But before I go into that one, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. If you don't mind, would you please share this round for me if you like it? Only if you like it, because I'm doing this each week. I'm doing loads of videos, loads of content, loads of advice, showing loads of properties. And it would really help me get my name out there. If you guys like what I'm doing and you share it around, that would really help me out. That would be awesome, actually. If you don't like it, don't. I'm not expecting anybody. But you've probably seen I've launched a podcast called The Anonymous Landlord. So what is The Anonymous Landlord? Well, it's the dream. It's the ultimate investor, the perfect landlord. It's a system of automation. It's sitting back on the beach with a cocktail, enjoying your money rolling in without having to lift a finger. It's investing in property cleverly without doing a thing. It's a mindset. It's a way of life. It's a quality of life. So in my podcast, I'm talking a lot to a lot of property investors, a lot of landlords, and a lot of people that are doing this right now. So I want to find out their tips, their advice, how they start, how much money they start with, what their first properties were, what their mindset were, what the challenges they were. So you can find it on iTunes, you can find it on Spotify, but please, please, please follow that and just help me out if you don't mind. I'm just asking for a little bit of help, and I hope that I've earned that little 2 minutes of asking you for your help and support. If you don't like what I'm doing, then that's fine. I totally understand. I won't put any pressure on it. If you do like what I'm doing, then please do share me around and help me out. Anyway, let's move on. I have got another 2-bedroom house here. And this one's in Sutherland Road in Southsea. Easy for me to say. My kids had me up at 3:30 this morning. So, this is the end of my energy. Normally I'm up here, but this is the end of my energy. So I hope you're still with me. So look, Sutherland Road. Now, this one's got a guide price of 160,000. It's on the market with Fox and Sons again. That was, here we go, Fox and Sons. Now, this one I think is a little bit of a gem because I don't think you'll get a mortgage on this one. I do also think that it's worth about 195 once it's done. So let's have a little look at it. There's an 2 shots of the front. Thank you very much. Nice. Definitely needed. Right, inside. Here we go. So look, a couple of things that I notice here. Number one, I can't see a radiator. Let me just check if there's anything in the notes. No notes about central heating. So I can't see a radiator straight away. I also see a little bit of staining, dark staining down here. This looks like it could be damp. So I do think that needs checking out. There's a bit of staining up the top here. That could also be a leak of some kind, and that looks like a little bit of a bay there. That's a flat bay there, so that can also be susceptible to leakage. Right, let's move on. Now, at one point in the history of the world, these doors were fashionable. I can't think when that was. I don't think I was alive, but they've got to go. So, but that's cheap. I've just seen a radiator. Oh my, hiding behind there. So that says it has got central heating. That's just saved you about 4 or 5 grand. Yes. But this does need decorating throughout. Now, here's a little hint. These walls look plastered. There's no wallpaper on these walls, which means you probably get away with just touching them up a bit, repairing them a bit, and painting them. Now, these are hideous photos, so bear with me as best you can. Again, look, the walls are smooth. Unless I'm being deceived, these are terrible photos. I can't really see anything. I'd be really pissed off if you marketed my house like this. I'm sorry, Fox & Sons. I know you guys are normally awesome. So whoever's taken these photos needs to probably take them again. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So look, these walls look fine. I don't think you need to change them apart from just give them a lick of paint. Don't know what that is. You'd need a new carpet in here. And now the kitchen definitely needs replacing. And I think this kitchen needs complete gutting, actually. And I think you can get a really decent sized kitchen in here. Now, it's got to be, you're going to need flooring. You're going to need to go the whole distance here on this kitchen. This is where most of your money is going to be spent. The bathroom, it looks like the bathroom's out the back. Let me see if there's a floor plan. No. Right, no floor plan. That's fucking annoying. Anyway, so there's no bathroom there, and the looks like it needs new stuff. This looks like a really old school toilet here. So you're going to need a new bathroom. This is on the market, by the way, at a guide price of 160. I think it's on the open market. So so that purely means, again, Fox & Sons have been clever there. Probably means that the owner wanted a bit more than perhaps it was worth. So they've said, look, let's get a guide price on it so we can get people through the door, find out what people are willing to pay. I think you've got to spend about 25 grand here. Needs a new bathroom. Garden needs to be completely cleared out. And again, if you remember back to that property I showed you in Essex Road, let's just compare. Whoa! Not quite as bad as that one, but there's still quite a lot of stuff there that needs to be cleared out. And the cost there is in the labour and the disposal. And it does take a bit of graft, and you might want to do that yourself to get some save some time. But you wouldn't really be the anonymous property investor if you did all that work yourself. And that's the point of the anonymous property investor, the anonymous landlord, the anonymous businessman. Out the back here, this looks like it could be all right. It does look dirty, but it looks like it could be all right. The roof looks fairly intact. Happy with that. Yeah, once you've cleaned that all out, that's probably fine. Do you know what? A lot of this as well, cleaning it all up adds to the appeal when you resell or whether you let. So upstairs, as normal with these types of properties, you've just got 2 big double bedrooms. They're normally really good sizes. And again, I'm looking at these rooms and the walls look like they're just plastered. So I'd probably just give them a lick of paint. I mean, I probably wouldn't have put this photo in. I don't know if anyone can actually see this. I probably wouldn't have put that one in. It's just a pointless photo. Oh, there's the same photo. Right, okay. Fair enough. Do you think they would throw in a washing line? Yeah, why not? Oh, it's David, that's a really good point. It's illegal to rent your home out with those doors. Thank you very much. Every day's a school day, huh? So yeah, fitted wardrobes, they'd probably come out because that's using up space. Unless you wanted to do them a bit better, I'd probably have them out. Space sells. Roof there looks all right. That looks fine, which would suggest maybe the rest of the roof does too. I guess this is the photo out of the bedroom window. Thank you very much. Yeah, so look, there's a couple of good points about this. I'm picking holes in this property. Yes, that's my job, isn't it? I've got to find the crap bits so that we know what we've got to spend on. I think you've got to spend 25 grand on that property. And I think that's minimum, really. But don't spend any more than that because it's only a 2-bedroom house. I think if I got this ready for rental, I think I could get that whole job done for 20. So if I can do that, then I'd be really happy. It probably won't get a mortgage on this because I don't think it's habitable at the moment. And a mortgage lender will look at that and say, no, you can't, I can't buy it for you and then move someone straight in to earn some rent, or I can't buy it for you and for it to be habitable by a human being. So you're going to need to bridging finance this property. And that's a good thing because it costs you a little bit more money, yes, but you build that into your calculation. Remember, you work out the price that it will be once the job is done, the value that it will be once the job is done, and then you work backwards from there. And we'll go through that in a second. But when you can't get a mortgage on a property, that narrows down the number of people that will actually be able to buy it, which means less competition for you, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Investor. So on this property here, let's just say I can get that whole job done for 20 grand, which I think that's a safe bet, that sort of area. And it's worth, once it's all done, look, I think it's going to be worth about 190, maybe 195. I think probably 195. So now let's work backwards. I buy it. The total job, once it's completed, is worth 195. I'm going to spend 20 grand on it. That takes it down to 175. There's going to be about 6 or 7 grand's worth of tax. There's going to be a grand's worth of legal fees. So we're going to go, 8 grand's worth of tax, legal fees, or stamp duty. I'm talking about tax, by the way. It is a tax. And then a bit of a contingency. So I've got 20 grand to do it up. That takes me down to 175. I've got 8 grand in costs, which is going to take me down to 167. And then I want to make some profit. So how much profit do I want to make? Now, I'm not going to get my yield calculator out here because there is such thing as a true yield. And I see so many people calculate the yield wrong. It makes me cringe. I just wish people would ask me to calculate a yield or show them how to calculate a yield. In fact, if you just Google search Tom Sloan true yield, then that will show you how to calculate the true yield of a property, not the fake yield. I see so many investors get this bit wrong. So many investors buy the wrong property because they think they're calculating the yield correctly. And so many investors miss really good opportunities because you're calculating the wrong yield. But I think I should want to make a minimum of 15 grand on this place, don't you think? Who agrees with me on that? 15 grand profit? Who wants 15 grand profit? I'll take that. So look, I've got myself down to 167 with no profit. So I will offer £152,000 on this property maximum. Now, the guys over at Fox & Sons, they sell 2 billion properties a month. So they'll be able to tell you whether that's a realistic offer. But please show your workings. Show the estate agent and let them show the owner how you've calculated your offer. And be honest. You can tell them that, look, I've got to make a profit on it. Otherwise, there's no point me investing. That's the whole point of investing, isn't it? Make an offer. Get the offer accepted. Now, remember, I'm showing you 4 properties here. I've got one more to come in a minute. Another one that actually people might be put off with. So there might be a little opportunity here. I'm talking quietly as if I'm being secret, but I'm live on Facebook. Genius. Anyway, look, I'm showing you 4 properties today. I could go back onto Rightmove, just on Rightmove, and show you 10 properties that you should be offering now to make a profit on. And that's the key to this. You might have to offer 10 times to get one property. But as long as you're open and honest about your offers, then actually you're not going around being a dick. You're not going around just making offers to try and mug people off. Actually, you're going around making genuine offers that are calculated professionally and calculated to generate a true yield. So don't be afraid to go and make multiple offers. Anyway, so make an offer here of maximum 152. The guys at Fox & Sons will put the offer forward for you. They're over in Southsea Osborne Road. Now, let's crack on, shall we? And remember, have I mentioned about my podcast, The Anonymous Landlord? Sorry for the plug, guys, but you know what? I really want to get it out there. There's loads of awesome stuff. And a podcast is a place that I can give out full information, full advice. And I can get advice from other people that are doing this day in, day out properly and successfully. So if you want to see some real people, hear some real advice from real people doing this, not just about property investing, but about finding the money to invest in property, because there's so many different places you can get funding. So get that podcast in your ears. It's called The Anonymous Landlord. Anyway, let's move on. I've got sorry for the plug, guys. Look, I hope you don't mind me sharing that with you, but I'm pretty proud of that podcast. And I'd like you to have a listen. Let me know what you think. And it's fully interactive as well. So I definitely think you should give it a go. Anyway, I'll promise I won't mention it again, but you'll love it. So the last place I'm going to show you here is on with Nesbits. I've saved this one for last because I love Nesbits. I'm a Nesbits fan. I would go to all of their auctions if I was you, because Nesbits are the kings. They always get it right. So we've got, this one's got a guide price here of 170,000. Hold on a second. Have you got it? I just want to make sure you've got the right one. There we go. Guide price 170,000. Now, the reason I like this one, I've just clicked a button and I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Right, the reason I like this one is because if you look at the front of the property, this is what I call front appeal, which is exactly what it sounds like. This one has front appeal. Whether you like that blue or not, it does have front appeal. Now, if you zoom in a little bit, or if I zoom in a little bit here, it does look a little bit dirty, but that's just a clean-up job. Easy as pie. And actually, once you've cleaned this place up with a good jet wash, this is going to literally buzz on the street because it's got two properties either side of it that look nice. Look at front doors. Front doors are a big giveaway about the quality of a property. And the front door on this one, the one we're looking at today, is nice. It looks fine to me. The front door on the next door neighbour's property is nice. And if you've ever looked at a property, you're going to go up to the front door, you're going to look at their front door, it's the first thing you see, and you're going to check the neighbours out, aren't you? And if they've got a nice front door, nice, they take care of their property. Now, first shot is the garden, and look, there's some clearance to be done here, but if you look close up here, this is just rubble. And you could probably just ditch that, and then your job is done in the garden. Inside. Now, the reason I like this property again is because you might look at this and think, oh, that's a bit overpriced with their guide. But I think, bear in mind, Nesbits have been out to see this property and they've calculated exactly the same as I do because they use the true yield method as well. And what they'll do is calculate what work roughly is required and what the gross development value is, or what's the value of the property once the job is done. So if you look at this property here, it looks really cluttered. It actually looks worse than it is, because if I look a bit closer, let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. Here we go. So if I look a bit closer, and hopefully you can all see this with me, just give me a thumbs up, by the way, if you can see all this and you're agreeing with me so far about this place. But if I'm looking at this property, the walls are smooth. Happy with them. All right, this purple and red, I don't know who chooses purple and red, but purple and red, we now know it doesn't go together. But here we go. The floor looks fine. It's floorboard. It looks okay. You might get away with it. Now let's go into here. The bathroom looks fine. Look, it doesn't matter whether you don't like the colours. It's all right to not like the colours. But let's look at the detail. Cheers, Jody. Let's look at the detail here. You've got a decent toilet, which obviously looks fine. It fits, it works. You've got a bathtub there. You might want to give it a clean out. Who knows? You've got tiles throughout the walls. And again, you don't have to like them. And then you've got, looks like a mosaic floor, and you've got a sink ready to go. Again, you might need to give it a bit of a bleach and a clean, but that's fine. This bathroom is quite neat. The bedroom. Now, I think this is wallpaper. Yes, it is, but it's obviously not that old. So do the trick that I've told you about. You touch the walls and you see if the wallpaper's crunching. If it's crunching, then you'll need to do something underneath the walls. And the rest of the place looks fine. Actually looks like it's been relatively newly decorated. Been up since 3:30. Let me off. Then we go into this room. Oh, by the way, I love that unit. I love all this. This looks like an Indian hardwood unit. I love that. Anyway, whoever buys this, if someone goes and buys this property, do me a favor. Let me buy that unit off you, please. But look, so like I was saying earlier on, these sorts of things put people off. This looks like it's a full up place. It looks like it's a, you might immediately think, oh, that needs a new bathroom because I don't like the colors. And it just puts an extra person off, and then another person off, and then another person off. But actually, if you look deep, it's not that bad. Kitchen, not that bad. Again, it looks terrible, but it's actually not that bad. Look at this. What makes it look terrible? First of all, the color. I think the color is probably not represented very well in this picture. If you look in close here, this is giving us a bit of a yellowy color, but I know from the style of kitchen and what it looks like to me and seeing billions of these photos, that that's not the true color of this kitchen. Now look, you've got this extractor hood, which is green, hideous, replace it. You've got this cooker here, hideous, but it looks like it's a standard size. So you could probably whip that bad boy out and put a new one in. And then the tiling on the walls needs to be done. And I think, look at this worktop around here. I don't think you've got any issues here. Now look, what else makes this kitchen look awful? These handles. I know they're just handles, but it makes this place look awful. So replace those handles, put some tiling on the walls. The floor looks fine. The kitchen looks fine. I don't think you could redesign this kitchen. You know, you go into a kitchen and have a look at it like this. Any kitchen, not just this property, but any kitchen. Go into the kitchen and imagine if you can redesign it any better. If you can't redesign it better, meaning make more use of the space that's available, then there's probably no need to. You could probably use the existing carcasses and put new doors on, or you could paint the carcass and put new doors on, change the handles, just give it a new lease of life without spending 6, 7, 8 grand on a kitchen. So this one here, I think you could probably put more modern handles on this, change the cooker, change the extractor fan, and tile this place up. And I think you're going to be left with a really nice kitchen. Look, it's not going to be the best kitchen on the planet. It's not going to be a brand new white gloss, beautiful kitchen, but it's a nice enough kitchen for you to sell it or rent it. So I definitely think that's a decent little opportunity that I think a lot of people will miss. And also, it's an auction. So you're going to get even less people going to this property. Now, let's go into the lounge. Again, same thing. Look how much stuff is in here. That just puts people off. I know it does. I know it might not put you off, but there are people that aren't able to really and truly see past clutter. And you look at a room like this and you see the green, you see the brown, you see this other color. What's that? Like a tealy color, I guess. And it just looks like it's too much going on. I can't get my head around it. No, I'm not going to do it. Because remember, a lot of people are investing a lot of money. So if they're going to invest a lot of money, they need to feel confident about it. But here's a couple of good points about this room that I want you to remember from this property. Number one, look at this beautiful Victorian coving detail. Look at this beautiful dado rail along the top. Fantastic. Look at this gorgeous fireplace. And well, the fire surround, awesome. And I bet any money there's also a ceiling rose right there. I would have had that in the photo personally. But also look at this lovely conservatory out the back. This is why I like this place, and this is why I think at first you look at that and you think, oh, that's overpriced. It's got a conservatory on the back. It's got the original features. It's got good sized rooms. It's got a nice front appeal. It's got a big garden. It's got reception rooms coming out of its ears. It's got big bedroom, big kitchen, which doesn't need too much doing to it, big lounge. I think this is an awesome house. So how much is it going to sell for? Well, first of all, you've got less competition here. And when this job is done, when you've done it up to a good standard, I do actually think this is going to be worth about 195, maybe more, depending on how good a job you do. Back to the front here. So this has a guide price of 170, and normally Nesbits don't get this wrong, but I don't think you need to spend much money in here at all. Let's work it out. Garden's going to cost you 500 quid to clear out. This room's going to cost you 150 quid to paint it. You'll have one guy who will get all that done in one day. So what are we on? That's 600 quid. Bathroom, don't touch it, just clean it. Maybe paint this white if you really want to go nuts. So that's another 100 quid, let's say, 700 quid. Don't touch this, or just paint over the wallpaper there. I don't think you need to take the wallpaper down. If you do want to take the wallpaper down, it's not going to cost you much more than about 500 quid, which will be probably 2 days, 2 guys, once you've stripped and painted. This room, fine, paint it, no problems at all. You want another 100 quid. So what are we on? We're on up to about, let's say, 900 quid now. Kitchen. Look, this is probably where you're going to spend most of your money, because you're going to put tiling in. That's going to cost you £1,000. That's 1,900 quid. You're going to get a new cooker, a new hob. That's probably going to cost you another 600 quid if you go nuts on it. Then now we're up to what, £1,500, £2,500. You want to get new handles. That's going to cost you another couple hundred quid if you get nice handles. So 2,700. Maybe you might want to fix a few things up. Let's just allow a few hundred quid for fixing things. This sink looks a bit tatty, so maybe a new sink. So we're up to about £3,000 so far. Fine, paint it. Let's give that one 200 quid because of the dark colours. One guy 2 days on that. So that's 3,200. And at the back here, I don't think there's an awful lot to do. Look at the brickwork here, looks fine. Everything around the window looks fine. The conservatory looks fine. What little parts of the roof I can see looks fine. It's got front appeal. So I think you've got 3,200 quid to spend on that. If you really want to go nuts, then spend another 500 quid on getting this whole front of house white. So let's say you're going to go nuts and you're going to spend that, and you'll have a bit of contingency just in case. You're going to spend up to £4,000. Up to £4,000. That's it. It's not a bad deal now. If you can buy it for 170,000, your tax on that's going to be somewhere about, someone calculate it for me, maybe what, £6,000 plus your £4,000 refurb. That's 180. And then if you've got what, £2,000 for legal fees and any other, your survey costs and your bridging finance, that's going to be another £1,000. So maybe you're in for 173. That's what the total purchase costs are going to be, not the purchase price. The purchase costs is going to be 170, 183, something like that. Have I calculated that right? You get where I'm going. You get where I'm going with it. It's difficult to do the calculations, reel them off like that. Anyway, so 183 in, you're probably going to sell it for 195. So my offer here, remember, I want to make 15k. And if you're the same, make 15k, then you're probably going to want to offer about, let's have a think here. You're probably going to want to offer something like 165 to 168. If you can get this for 165, I think you've got a good deal. If you get it for 168, you've got an okay deal. You're going to make some money. And also bear in mind, this one might be a good one to rent out. If you can get it for a good enough price, you're probably going to rent this for about $850, something like that. So that's a decent rental income if you do it nice because of the amount of space that you've got there. So just to recap on these properties, and hopefully you liked those. I've tried to give you a bit more information about how I see these properties, but everyone's different. You know, I see things. I used to look at a property and really want to do it the way I like it, but I don't do that anymore now. I look at it purely as an unemotional, cold mathematical equation where I'm going in and I'm doing it up to sell or rent. But look, Essex Road, I think that's a cracking one. Go in there and offer, look, 160 is fine for that. That's not a bad place at all. Merrick Road, get in there, and I can't remember what I said to offer on that, but I think it was something like 155. Not bad at all if you can pick it up for anywhere around there. Sutherland, same, don't mind that one at all. 155 would be a max for me. And then Seafield, if you can pick that up for 160, look, offer 165 and see how you get on. You might need to go a couple of grand more, but I think that's a really good property. When's that auction, by the way? That auction is on the 3rd of September. Guide price 170. Go on to, oh, by the way, here's another little tip about Nesbitt's. Another reason I love Nesbitt's. And if anyone from Nesbitt's is watching or ever watches this, or if anyone from Nesbitt's or knows anyone from Nesbitt's, then get them in touch here, because another reason I love Nesbitt's is because their auction fee is low. You get these online auctioneers now, and just a quick word of warning, by the way, you've got online auctions now like Pattinson's and I Am Sold, and there's loads of these places. Just be aware of their auction fees, because where someone like Nesbitt's will charge you between 300 and 700 quid for an auction, companies like the online auctioneers are charging something like 4 or 5%. They're charging a hell of a lot. Now, again, it doesn't matter. It's fine. That's up to them. They can charge what they want, because you just calculate it into your offer. You just take it off of your offer and say to the, you can say to the agent, you can say to the owner, look, I would have offered you this amount of money, but I've got to pay the agent, or sorry, the auctioneer $6,000 just to keep them happy. So don't be afraid to make that calculation. So I hope you like those properties. Hey, let me know if you're going to go and see these, because these have only just come on the market this week. So it's definitely there for an opportunity. And I think every single one of those has its own opportunity, whether you're buying to sell or buying to rent. I think these ones are quite good buy to let, flip to sell, personally. So let me know what you think of these. But we're going to finish up now with I want to show you how rents are going up, and I want to show you evidence. I'm not just going, rents are going up. I want to show you that actually they are, because look, there have been in the lettings world. All right, this is just Portsmouth, and Portsmouth always does well in the rental market. It also does really well when the prices go down elsewhere. Portsmouth is normally quite strong. Anyway, this week alone, there have been 40 new rental listings coming onto the market. However, there have been 50 let properties, 50. Now, the world of supply and demand would dictate that if there's a higher demand than there is supply, then it's going to go up in value, right? So I think rents are going up. So if you've got a property that you're getting through that you're going to rent out, then get it through as quick as you can. Get that rent in, get the higher rent in, because I tell you what, you're going to benefit from it, because there's currently a huge demand for rentals. So get those tenants into your properties, because it's all going up. There's been 50 new let agrees, but only 40 new listings. So I think next week we're going to be looking at some exciting figures. So that's me. Hopefully you enjoyed that, because actually I quite enjoyed that one. So I hope you did too. I'm probably going to go to bed in a minute, because as I said a few times now, my kids had me up since 3:30. Absolute nightmares. But I love them to death, and I'm going to go and have a little muck around with them for an hour or two before they go to sleep, and before I just conk out entirely. Don't forget to go and grab my podcast, The Anonymous Landlord. But if you're not into podcasts, then I'll share all of my advice for free. Now, do you know what? You could spend thousands of your hard-earned pounds buying training courses and doing all of those sorts of things to learn the property investment strategies that I'm just going to give for free. I will also get other property investment strategies from the experts and the people that are doing it, that are seeing it, that are succeeding at it, and I'm going to share it with you for free. Why? I'm not going to lie to you. It's because I have a business. My business is Pink Street Lettings, Pink Street Sales, mortgages, and property investments. That's what I do. I am not into the business of training or anything like that. I might be in the future, but right now, if I can give you guys some awesome properties, some awesome advice, and some awesome tips, then I like to think you're going to come and use my companies to do business with in the future, whether that be lettings, tenant finding, lettings management, or selling a property, buying a property, investing in properties, or doing mortgages, all of that sort of stuff. I can help you out. So I will answer all messages. If you drop me a message, if you want anything, if you want to know anything or need help with anything, then I will answer every single message that I get, or just email me. It's tom@pinkstreet.co.uk. And I promise every email will be answered without fail. It doesn't matter whether that's at midnight, I will answer your email and your questions. That might not be forever, depends on how many people get my podcast. If millions of people get my podcast, then I might not be able to answer everyone every time. So I hope that helps. I really enjoyed that one. Let me know what you think. Please, do you know what? Your feedback is so valuable. I do this for nothing. I do it for fun. And I want to give all this advice for free so that we all get it right, we don't get it wrong, and we find great property deals, and we can do it all together. If you've got a property deal that you want to ask me about, or if you want to find funding, if you want to find investment for your property deal, well, hey, I can help you with that too. Just tell me what the property is. We'll talk privately. Tell me what your investment opportunity is, and I will help you get funding for it. Hey, why not? We're all in it to make a bit of money. So I will speak to you all soon. I look forward to hearing your emails. I do get round to answering every single one, but I do get a lot of messages and a lot of emails. So just bear with me, and I will get round to you as soon as I can. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm knackered. I am out of here. Speak to you all soon. Take care, everyone, and go out viewing.